Hello everybody, today I'm going to be discussing about the Loch Ness Monster. What has really captivated me towards this monster has been mentioned throughout pretty much my childhood. It's one of the first cryptids I've ever heard about, but over the years I kind of speculated if this is real or if this is just a myth. Nevertheless, the Loch Ness Monster is in fact a great mystery throughout our history. And so what I can say is I did a bit of research based off of whether or not this could potentially be real. So to start off, this was discovered deep in the Scottish Highlands. It was a freshwater lake famous around the world for the enduring mystery, the Loch Ness Monster, often nicknamed Nessie. So this legend of Nessie dates back more than 14,000 years ago. One of the earliest stories come from the life of Saint Columba, written in the 7th century. According to this account, Columba encountered a mysterious creature in the waters of the River Ness. Modern interest in the Loch Ness Monster exploded in the 1930s. That year, several people reported seeing a large, unusual animal in and around the Loch Ness. Newspaper coverage quickly spread to the story across Britain and beyond. Perhaps the most famous image associated with Nessie is a surgeon's photograph taken in 1934. For decades, many people consider it strong evidence of a monster. However, in the 1990s, the photograph was widely revealed to be a hoax involving a small model, which is likely the one that we've seen throughout multiple pictures. Even when you use like ChatGPT, I'm sure you could it could enhance it to be some sort of realistic figure, but yeah, unfortunately this was a hoax, which is kind of the first theory of it being fake. But over the years, scientists, explorers, and enthusiasts have searched the Loch Ness using sonar, underwater cameras, and other technologies. Despite numerous investigations, no conclusive evidence of a large unknown creature has ever been found. Some sightings may be explained by natural phenomena, including waves, floating logs, swimming deer, large fish, or optical illusions. The vast size of the Loch Ness, combined with changing weather conditions and limited underwater visibility, can make unusual observations difficult to interpret. In 2018, researchers conducted a large environmental DNA study of Loch Ness. By analyzing genetic material found in the water, they identified many species living in the loch. The study found no evidence of a giant reptile or prehistoric creatures, though it suggested that large eels could potentially explain some reports. Today, Nessie remains one of the world's most famous cryptids, a creature whose existence has been claimed but not scientifically proven. Whether a monster, misidentification, or modern folklore, the legend continues to attract visitors from around the globe and remains a fascinating part of Scottish culture. So, could the Loch Ness Monster be real? For me, the story of the Loch Ness Monster has fascinated people, no doubt about that. But when we examine the evidence, does Nessie really hold up to scientific scrutiny? Well, why the Loch Ness Monster probably isn't real. First, despite decades of searches using sonar, underwater cameras, submarines, all of that good stuff, no physical evidence has been ever found. There are no bones, no carcasses, no DNA samples, and no verified photographs throughout the years, except the one photograph that is likely fake. So many famous sightings have also fallen apart under investigation. The most iconic image in 1934, surgeon's photograph, was eventually exposed as a hoax involving a small model. Again, there's also been a biological problem. If a large breeding population of unknown creatures lived in the Loch Ness, scientists would expect evidence of them by now. A single monster couldn't survive for generations, meaning there would be need to be multiple animals, yet none have been consecutively detected. It also, just side note, seeing I think a donkey and a horse creates a mule, and if so, creating some sort of, a mule being a hybrid animal offspring. So mules generally cannot reproduce because they have an odd number of chromosomes, which prevents them from producing viable gametes? Yeah, so if the Loch Ness ends up being some sort of hybrid eel, dolphin mix thing, likely, there could be a possibility if it is a hybrid animal and it just can't reproduce. However, Again, with no physical evidence of whether there's like bones that washed up on the beach or even inside like in the lake, it's hard to really tell. In 2018, research analyzed environmental DNA from the loch's water. They found genetic traces of countless species, but no evidence of giant reptiles, dinosaurs, or any large unknown creatures. For many scientists, its simplest explanation is that the sightings result in misidentified animals, floating debris, unusual waves, optical illusions, or the power of expectation. However, on the contrary, why some people could believe it's still real. So despite the lack of proof and evidence, reports continue to emerge from witnesses who insist they saw something unusual. The Loch Ness is enormous, over 20 miles long, of hundreds of feet deep in places. The water is dark, and visibly underwater is extremely limited. So some may argue that if species exist, this environment could help it avoid detection. Supporters also point out that the history contains examples of animals once thought mythical or extinct being discovered later. The giant squid, for example, was considered legendary for centuries before being photographed alive. Now, some researchers have suggested that large eels could explain that at least a portion of the Nessie sightings. Others could speculate that its undiscovered species might have inhabited the loch, though there's currently no evidence supporting this idea. Another thing too is if there's a reward, which likely there could be, there's like a whole cryptid site where they say, oh, if you find this cryptid, then there's this reward. Like for Bigfoot's like $100,000 if you can actually have a picture of him. But you'll see a scam where some people dressed up as bears to destroy luxury cars to claim insurance fraud. So, but there could be essentially, I don't know, a fun idea of if you did find this cryptid, if it ends up being sighted and real and you take a photo, which again ChatGPT can kind of make people confused if the image is real or not, or in disbelief. So good luck on that. It could be, just so people can claim that reward if found. But the overall verdict, in my opinion, could there be an undiscovered creature in the Loch Ness? I don't think that's possible, but that's based on the evidence available today. Scientists throughout this study have overwhelmingly concluded that there's no convincing proof that a giant monster inhabits the loch, which is kind of sad. But the mystery survives not because of what we know, but because of what we don't know. And as long as people keep reporting strange sightings, the legend of Nessie is unlikely to disappear. So I hope that the discussion gave some insights of whether or not you believe it's real. I mean, do you believe that Nessie could be real? Do you think there's anything that I have missed? For anybody to comment and let me know what they believe. Essentially, like, this is just my belief based off of what I have researched. But yeah, I would like to know your thoughts.